don't know if I want to use this sound effect. I think I burped with that one. Okay, hold on. Anyways, hey everybody. What's up and welcome to the Her Between podcast. I'm your host, Kellē Jones, and I'm so happy you're here with me right now. Like, I am so happy. Actually, I'm happy that I'm here. Backstory. This is not my first podcast. This is the first episode of the Her in Between podcast. I've had podcasts that I don't think I ever went public with. Not me going public. That's funny. Yeah, I don't have episodes that I went public with, but I've had them and I always stop after the first episode. So this time I'm believing and knowing that it's going to be different because there's a different reason why I want to do this. And that's what we're going to get into during this first episode. But before we do that, I just want to introduce myself because some of y'all know me, but most of y'all do not know me. Some of y'all may not have even known that my name is Kellē, because a lot of time when people see my name, they think it's Kell or Kellē, or I've gotten a lot of things, but it's Kellē. So yeah, Kellē Jones. Yeah, so I want to share about who I am and also the heart behind the Her in Between podcast, and just setting expectations, I guess, so you know what you're getting yourself into. But honestly, with me, you really don't know where we're going. Like, we could be going here and then bam, I end up over there. Are you that type of person too? Yeah, that's who I am. So I can give you a brief idea of what to expect, but listen, I can't promise you that we'll stay there. Anyways, my name's Kellē Jones and I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've lived here for a while. I'm married. I have a husband. I refer to him online as Bubs, but his name is Rod. We've been married 7 years. No, it'll be 7 years in April, so in a few months, which blows my mind. I love being a wife. I love being married to Rod. And I couldn't imagine life any different. But yeah, I have a bird. His name is Chico. He's actually like a generational pet. We don't have kids. Um, I love God. I feel like the last few years I've just walked very closely with God and just taken my walk with Him serious. I'm a big thrifter. Like, most people know me as Kellē the Thrifter. I'm so many more things than that, but I love thrifting. I love finding stuff on the side of the road. I love everything secondhand. Like, if I could have everything secondhand besides my underwear and my bedding, pretty much, yeah, I'd love it. And forks and knives. I don't know why. I don't no, I have a thing about silverware, putting other people's silverware in my mouth. I don't know. That's not what you asked for. Focus, Kellē. But yeah, I'm really into that. I love women. I love people in general, and I really mean that. But I love women, and I love that God made me a woman. Being a woman is incredible. I mean, we go through some things, but oh, love it. Love being surrounded by women. And that's another reason why I'm so excited about this podcast, is because I know that it's geared towards women. Um, I'm going to have a lot of solo episodes with just, myself. But what I really wanted to do was bring other women to sit with me on this orange couch. I guess we could do some Skype because I don't live by certain women and I'm probably not flying them out to my house. But for the majority of at least the first season, it's going to consist of me and other women in my life that I want you guys to know. And I want to share their voice because I think about how great so many women in my life are. And oftentimes I don't think their voices are amplified. And so I was thinking this would be a great place to amplify them. So not only amplify my voice, but amplify their voice. So yeah, I guess that kind of sums up a very brief synopsis of who I am. Um, yeah. So today we're just going to be diving into the heart of the Her in Between podcast. And why, like, what is the in between? Even though, like, when you say it, you can kind of get a brief idea about what is the in between, or her in between. But yeah, I just kind of want to go over that. And how many minutes am I at? I'm already at 12 minutes. That's crazy. Um, it's so funny. I told someone the name of my podcast and they let me know that, like, hey, maybe you should change it because it sounds kind of like provocative or something. I'm just like, yeah, I don't care. And I hope they're listening to this podcast and to know that I did not change it. I don't care. I know who I am. You know who you are. So, hey, if that's what you want it to mean, I guess that's what it means. But Her in Between is mostly about celebrating and acknowledging the moments between, your challenges and your accomplishments. Um, I honestly, last few years, I've just been doing a lot of like inner work. Um, really been focusing on like becoming the woman that God called me to be and not allowing the world to like conform me um, and transform me into this person that's always wanting to be somewhere besides the present place that I'm in right now. And I find myself sometimes like always wishing moments away or looking at the place that I'm in and thinking that, like, dang, no, I need to leave this place. I need to get to where I need to go. And when I really think about it, I hate that because that's me like wishing my life away. And honestly, when I look back on all the moments in my life, I think about the most beautiful things are in my in between. It's in the everyday, it's in the process. That's the most meaningful and beautiful parts of my life. One example that I like to share is my marriage, for instance. Um, my wedding day, it was so beautiful. It was a great day. It was probably one of the most memorable days of my life. It's a day that a lot of people connect to me on. But if I'm being really honest, that wasn't the best day of my life. There's days in my marriage, like when me and my husband are in the kitchen and we're just having a deep moment and we're getting to know each other after knowing each other already for like 7 years. We have a breakthrough moment in the kitchen on a Tuesday. And it's the most beautiful encounter. And so a lot of time, like I'm thinking about that was an in-between moment. That wasn't a big pillar, a big moment in my life. It was just the in between. So, anyways, I want to have a platform where like I get to share my voice and my in between and the things that I'm walking through um, in this current state versus talking about like the past all the time. Because it's easy to share a story once you're out of it. But I think it's really challenging to share when you're walking in it. And I think it's important that we share those things. And obviously, like, if you're walking through something that's very hard and you're not ready to share with the world, this isn't a place where I want you to share that. So I'm not going to be pulling people on the podcast when they're like in the middle of the darkest parts of their life. But I do want to share women's stories and my stories and my everyday, my in between with you all in a healthy way. So feels like I was talking in circles when I shared that. But yeah, that's kind of what her in between. Sharing the moments where you're not there yet, but you're on the way there, and just sharing that middle ground, and being honest about it. Because honestly, I know how I just mentioned like the women's group that I'm a part of. Like I've learned in that space that you don't have to only share something once it's over, because somebody needs to hear you walking through it right now. Somebody needs to hear that you're being brave and courageous and sharing your in between. I feel like there's a lot of safety in sharing things that are in the past. At least for me, it's something that I'm cool with. But one thing I've learned in the past year or so is that like there's so much beauty in sharing um, what you're walking through now. So yeah, that's what her in between is. What am I excited about for the Her in Between podcast? Really just excited about authentic conversations. I think, at least at this point in my life, I'm very much interested in going deep. Like, I know how to be surface level with people. I know how to not talk about hard things. I know how to do it, but I realize I get so bored with those conversations. But it is a great skill to have, to be able to like stay surface with people and navigate that easy conversation. Like, we should all know how to do that, because there's situations where you need to know how to do that. Work events, e what was outside of work? Actually, outside of work, yeah, no. And even at work, I'd be trying. Anyways, yeah. So that's a skill that we should have. But I realized when you really want to have friends, when you really want to get to know people, like, you need to have an authentic conversation. You need to not only talk about the what, but also the why and like the hows. And so I love going deep with people. Like, it is my favorite thing to do, is to really like look at somebody and learn why it is that they do the thing that they do, or what brings them joy. How can I pray for them? Like, I like to know those things. And so that is what I'm most excited about with the Her Between podcast. Um, and just getting to know people in my life more and asking them things that maybe we haven't slowed down enough to talk about prior to this. So yeah, that's what I'm really excited about. I'm also really excited about sharing my voice. And I talk a lot and I'm very loud already, but I don't get to talk a lot to a lot of people. So um, I'm really excited to be able to just share my voice and for you to get to know me better, and just to share my heart and share my faith journey and my walk with God, and um, just my walk while I'm on this planet. So really excited about that. Um, yeah, I really wanted to make a space where we get to talk about our in betweens, and we get to encourage one another, and we get to embrace one another and cheer each other on. And I imagine like this podcast becoming something that everybody gets to do when they sit down with their friends. It's like, let's have a Her in Between session. One thing too, on the Her in Between podcast, we will always be sipping something good. Right now, I'm drinking hibiscus tea. And it is so delicious. Ooh, yummy. I'm not gonna lie. This is not normal for me. Like, I'm a little nervous recording this. Like, I honestly I don't feel like I've loosened up, but it'll get better with time. Okay. Let's set some expectations. New episodes will be dropping every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Um Honestly, this is my first episode, and my goal is to finish one season. And I have people in my life who are holding me accountable, because listen, when you start something new, and this is a word. When you start something new, the easiest part is starting. The hardest part is continuing. Continuing when you feel like nobody is listening, when you feel like your efforts are not matching up with the results. Um, the results are matching up with your efforts. That's what I meant, right? Either way, you know what I'm saying. When you feel like your hard work isn't paying off, like, you stop. And I don't even want to do that. When I tried to start podcasts before, it was because I wanted it to just blow up. I wanted it to be um, this quick thing. And I've kind of come to the realization that, like, that'd be great, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, no, I don't care if anybody listens to my podcast, because that's not true. I want y'all to listen. I know my mama watching. Hey. Um, but I'm doing it because it's freeing, and I really just want to talk. I talk to myself a lot already. Like, I was talking to myself the other day and I was like, dang, Kellē, like, is this okay? Because I was having a full blown conversation. Um, but I once heard somebody say it's okay to have conversations with yourself as long as nobody's watching you, and as long as nobody else is in the room. So we're fine. But I talk to myself so much, and yeah, I just want to press record and share it with the world. Some things. But yeah, so that's the expectation. New episodes every Thursday, video content on YouTube, audio content on your favorite podcast platform. So yeah. And if you care about me and you don't see an episode on Thursday, I give you full permission to hit me up and be like, "Hey Kellē, like what happened?" I need that in my life. I need that big time. So, no offense taken. I was thinking about like how long I wanted each episode to be, and I don't really know. I don't know how long every episode is going to be, but listen, if you got time for me, just tune in. I don't care how you break it up. Sometimes it might be 10 minutes, sometimes it might be 45. And hey, if I'm really sitting with somebody on this couch that I really rock with and the convo keep doing, it might be a part 1, part 2. You just never know. So, yeah. Dang, I'm excited. So we went over what her in between means, um, what the expectations are, the why, all of that. So I guess I just want to say thank you. I feel like I said that already, but I just want to say it again. Like, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Um, and I'm really excited about the next episode. Surprise, surprise. No, follow my Instagram and I'll be dropping like little hints about what the next episode will be about. Um, and just, yeah, thank you for your support. And like I said, even if you're just here for this episode, I'm just so grateful that you took the time out to listen to me and show some type of interest. Um, and yeah, so I am available on YouTube and every single podcast platform you probably listen to. So if you want to follow me on one of them things, you can. What is my Instagram name? I think it's the Her in Between podcast on Instagram. Either way, I'll link it so you can just follow me on there. I am working on a website, but that's not done yet. So I am flaming. I promise you, next time I will be wearing a tank top. I'm not going to promise you because it could be cold in my house. Because listen, this house, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. I don't know. But these lights are hot. Anyways, thank you so much for joining the first episode of the Her in Between podcast. I'm your host, Kellē Jones, and I'm so grateful for you.